Now, here, ladies and gentlemen, is an unenviable record. Our next guest has appeared on this program more times than any other single guest. Please say hello to the voice of NBC Sports, Marv Albert. Yeah. Hello, Marv. Always good to see you, Marv. And I understand tonight we have not only the Albert Achievement Awards, but this is some of the best of the year,
yes,
and perhaps best of...
no, the decade we're saving for the
half hour for your own show. That comes up on Saturday. That's right. What time is that?
Around 4:30.
4:30 on NBC, following the Bills...
Jets Buffalo.
Jets game. Okay, great. That will be a decade of Albert Achievement Awards.
Right. A little cameo by yourself, Richard Lewis, and Manute Bol also doing impressions. Does a hysterical Marcel Marceau.
Is that right?
Really, man has it down. And my brothers Al and Steve coming out very strong for the return of the red, white, and blue puck to the National Hockey League.
All right, well, we'll look forward to seeing that.
Making a strong...
Okay, let's go. Let's see.
This is always compiled by our crack staff, captained by Dave Katz. And it is a look back at the...
Here we go. Hang on to something, ladies and gentlemen.
89, a very strong year for
you can say
Albert Achievement. I would never say that. I don't speak like that. All right, here it is. Wild and the wacky, and we open up with some football antics at training camp.
Whoa!
Jim McMahon fooling around with the guys, getting a bit off color. Now here is West Virginia quarterback Major Harris. He had a major problem lining up behind the guard and then realizes his mistake. Extra point attempt by Graceland College in Iowa. The kick hit the upright, bounces back to the holder who decides to run it in. He can't do that, though, against the rules.
Really?
High school football game in Cincinnati. Watch the player in motion, flipping out. Not something we've seen in the NFL, but they run the play for 3 yards. To the sport of tennis, in the U.S. Open far court, Andre Agassi with the return off the head of the linesman. Also, at the U.S. Open, watch the back judge, nowhere to hide on the serve by Boris Becker. Then there was Agassi offering congratulations after the match and then changes his mind.
Whoa!
Now the wild and wacky in baseball over the past year. There was Mike Gallego of Oakland. The shot down the line. The ball boy picks it up. Bad move. It's still in play. A fair ball. Von Hayes of the Phils with a drive deep to right. Hubie Brooks to the wall. Looks to make the play. Where's the baseball? It disappeared. Well, Dave, it got stuck behind the banner.
Oh, there it is, Marv.
Yes, thank you very much.
Behind the banner.
Now, here's a base hit to right. Watch Paul O'Neill of the Reds misplays it, but he kicks it back to the infield.
Can you do that?
Yes, you can. It's a perfect relay to hold the runner at third. And when you're a White Sox in September, you do have to kill some time. Steve Lyons amusing himself by playing tic-tac-toe. Best attempts of the year. Ken Griffey Jr. of Seattle with a drive. Ricochets off the head of the Yankees' Roberto Kelly. And later in the same week, another shot off the head of Roberto Kelly, who obviously needed some medical attention from the trainer. Now, how about this shot off the bat of Cal Ripken of the Orioles? Brad Kavins goes over the wall, but can't hang on. It is a home run.
Grab.
And here's the catch of the year. Kevin Mitchell of the Giants goes down the line to the wall and does it barehanded. Now to the incredible. You'll like this one, Dave. So, a sumo wrestling competition, a sneak attack spinning. In auto racing, Chip Robinson leads the pits, but there's a problem. He takes the fuel hose with him. Now here's a youngster practicing golf.
This
in the
is your
backyard.
yard, Marv.
Yes, it is. A slight slice right into the video camera. Now what will I tell Mom and Dad? At the NHL draft, Toronto executive George Armstrong carefully ponders. And we close with boxing. Here's some unique strategy by one Courtney Cooper, raising his arms, and every time he does, he gets punched by Mildred Taylor.
Here we go.
Now, Sammy Black takes the shot. He's knocked down, but it is the quickest recovery of the year. And then there was Tony Wilson against Steve McCarthy. Apparently, Wilson's mother was upset with the opponent, McCarthy, so she ended the ring, swinging a shoe to come to the aid of her son. A most unusual occurrence in the world of boxing.
Wild and wacky.
For 89.
Always a crowd pleaser.
Always full of mirth.
This stuff would make an excellent half-hour show to follow a football game some weekend.
You know, I've been trying to talk to the NBC executives about it, and we'll be on this Saturday.
We're looking back at a decade now, not just a year, but a decade. What do you have 2 or 3 of the best moments in sport?
The greatest moment this past season, I would say, or actually the decade, as you point out, 2 weeks ago, Rangers Winnipeg, Madison Square Garden. No, I'm just kidding. I would say the number one moment, 1980, the U.S. hockey team knocking off the Soviets.
Miracle on ice.
The other one, I would say, the home run by Kirk Gibson in the World Series for the Dodgers to knock off the A's. I was standing in the dugout ready to interview Jose Canseco after the game, as it appeared he would be the star. Jose at the time was dialing his 900 number
to find out
to put in his message for that particular day.
Yeah, I remember watching that game at home, and when Kirk Gibson did that, it was one of those things where you thought, well, it'll be nice if something happens here, but you knew it wasn't going to happen, and then he just jerked one into the seats.
It was unbelievable, and it was right out of the motion picture, The Natural. It was identical. But I would say those two were
What about this Bjorn Nitmo?
Bjorn does a nice job. For those who may not be familiar, he has a talk show in California.
I didn't realize that.
You didn't realize that?
Oh, the Bjorn Nitmo show?
Absolutely.
It just slipped my mind. Marv, have a great whatever we're coming up on here, and a big show Saturday. Marv Albert, ladies and gentlemen.